Instead she writes, in her letters home, of the powerful cooking gas that flares up at any time of day or night from 4 burners on the stove, and the hot tap water fierce enough to scald her skin, and the cold water safe enough to drink. The top 2 floors of the house are occupied by their landlords, the Montgomerys, a Harvard sociology professor and his wife. The Montgomerys have 2 children, both girls, Amber and Clover, aged 7 and 9, whose waist-length hair is never braided, and who play on warm days for hours on a tire swing rigged to the only tree in the backyard. The professor, who has told Ashima and Ashok to call him Alan, not Professor Montgomery as they had at first addressed him, has a wiry rust-colored beard that makes him look much older than he actually is. They see him walking to Harvard Yard in a pair of threadbare trousers, a fringed suede jacket, and rubber flip-flops. Rickshaw drivers dress better than professors here, Ashok, who still attends meetings with his advisor in a jacket and tie, thinks frequently to himself. The Montgomerys have a dull green Volkswagen van covered with stickers, question authority, give a damn, ban the bra, peace. They have a washing machine in the basement which Ashok and Ashima are permitted to share, a television in their living room which Ashok and Ashima can hear clearly through the ceiling. It had been through the ceiling one night in April, when Ashok and Ashima were eating their dinner, that they heard about the assassination of Martin Luther King, Jr., and just recently, of Senator Robert Kennedy. Sometimes Ashima and Alan's wife, Judy, stand side by side in the yard, clipping clothes to the line. Judy always wears blue jeans, torn up into shorts once summer comes, and a necklace of small seashells around her throat. A red cotton scarf over her stringy yellow hair, the same texture and shade as her daughter's, is always tied at the back of her neck. She works for a women's health collective in Somerville a few days a week. When she learned of Ashima's pregnancy, she approved of Ashima's decision to breastfeed but had been disappointed to learn that Ashima was going to put herself in the hands of the medical establishment for her child's delivery. Judy's daughters were born at home, with the help of midwives at the collective. Some nights Judy and Alan go out, leaving Amber and Clover unsupervised at home. Only once, when Clover had a cold, did they ask Ashima if she could check in on them. Ashima remembers their apartment with a biting horror just beyond the ceiling yet so different from her own. Piles everywhere, piles of books and papers, piles of dirty plates on the kitchen counter, ashtrays the size of serving platters heaped with crushed out cigarettes. The girls slept together on a bed piled with clothes. Sitting momentarily on the edge of Alan and Judy's mattress, she had cried out, falling clumsily backward, startled to discover that it was filled with water. Instead of cereal and tea bags, there were whiskey and wine bottles on top of the refrigerator, most of them nearly empty. Just standing there had made Ashima feel drunk. They arrive home from the hospital courtesy of Dr. Gupta, who owns a car, and sit in the sweltering living room, in front of their only box fan, suddenly a family. Instead of a couch they have 6 chairs, all of them 3-legged, with oval wooden backs and black triangular cushions. To her surprise, finding herself once again in the gloomy 3-room apartment, Ashima misses the hustle-bustle of the hospital, and Patty, and the jello and ice cream brought at regular intervals to her side. As she walks slowly through the rooms it irks her that there are dirty dishes stacked in the kitchen, that the bed has not been made. Until now Ashima has accepted that there is no one to sweep the floor, or do the dishes, or wash clothes, or shop for groceries, or prepare a meal on the days she is tired or homesick or cross. She has accepted that the very lack of such amenities is the American way. But now, with a baby crying in her arms, her breasts swollen with milk, her body coated with sweat, her groin still so sore she can scarcely sit, it is all suddenly unbearable. I can't do this, she tells Ashok when he brings her a cup of tea, the only thing he can think to do for her, the last thing she feels like drinking. In a few days you'll get the hang of it, he says, hoping to encourage her.